I am so excited today because we're here and I get a chance to interview my wife, Lady Carolyn Byrd. I am so excited because she's written a new book, and the book is entitled 8 Steps from Freedom, Breaking Free from the Fear of Judgment. Y'all, this is going to be a powerful interview. So, first of all, good morning, Lady Carolyn Byrd. How are you?
Good morning, my husband, and good morning to everyone who is with us today.
Yes. Good morning. So let's get right into it because I want to ask her some questions which I know these questions are going to be powerful and going to help you as far as the fear of judgment. So, can you share with us the inspiration behind writing 8 Steps from Freedom, Breaking Free from the Fear of Judgment?
Wow, that is powerful. That's a loaded question because this book made me had to dig inside of my own truth. And I was inspired because I had to start identifying my own struggles. I realized that I struggled most of my life with the fear of judgment. I didn't have a title for it. I just knew that I was the person that dimmed my light. I was the person that pushed everyone else forward. I was the person that would walk into the room with my head down. I was that person. I was that person that wouldn't pursue things, wouldn't complete things. So I had to come to my own reality that I was struggling in my own self.
Wow, that's powerful. So you really were the inspiration behind your own book.
Yes, I was. And then after working with so many couples and so many women, as we do our marriage, working with couples, and then when we separate them, to work with I, the wife, and you, the husband. And I realized that I wasn't the only person that was dealing with this little silent struggle, that it didn't matter my position. It didn't matter who I was, that it was going on the inside of me. And I realized that I wasn't alone. And so even as I help women personally go through that journey, it just still amazes me how many of us struggle on the inside.
I think a lot of people are going to need this book. So what is the main message or takeaway you hope readers will gain from reading your book?
That it's time to come forward and live your life your way.
That's powerful. Time to come forward. Like they've been in the background too long. It's time to come out of hiding. It's time to come from behind the curtain. And it's time to take your position in front of the curtain.
In front of the curtain. Yes.
That's powerful. So in your experience, what are some common signs or indicators that someone is struggling with the fear of judgment?
Whew, that's good. A lot of it is negative self-talk, low self-esteem, people-pleasing personalities, self-doubt, self-criticism, self-judgment. All of these things are like characteristics that seem to follow us throughout life. Even if we don't say it, when we doubt ourselves, our inward struggles with being who we are or who we are called to be, it's real.
It is real. And I got the picture while you were talking, someone going through life but then carrying a blanket, an invisible blanket, and they don't know they're carrying it until it shows up and becomes visible, and then they realize all their life they've been carrying this same blanket.
Yes, carrying the same blanket.
That's powerful. So could you briefly explain the 8 steps outlined in your book and how they can help individuals overcome the fear of judgment?
Oh yeah, it is. It's like the 8 chapters. So we start with understanding, and we go into overcoming and building our self-awareness, cultivating the life that we desire, and cultivating ourselves and being self-aware, strengthening. We have to do that inner strengthening of ourselves, and then we have to take action. And one important thing that most people have a tendency to forget is celebrating ourselves.
Wow, that's good.
Because sometimes we are never taught that it's okay to celebrate ourselves, because we are taught that that's prideful. But while they're teaching, it's prideful. They never teach us that how to self-empower ourselves and how to celebrate our uniqueness and how to celebrate the little achievements that we go through in life, and then embracing our uniqueness, because no two people are the same and we shouldn't be expected to be like the next person. Every child has their DNA. Every child has their own uniqueness, and we could give birth to multiple children, but each child is different in their own way, and celebrating and embracing who we are. So we learn from even what was given to us and or what wasn't taught to us. So we struggle because we think that we're so different and we feel as though we don't fit in. So even in the educational system, we are lumped together, a group of kids inside the system, and we expect everyone to learn the same. Well, everyone is not the same. So embracing our uniqueness and then learning how to move forward from there.
Yeah. Learning how to move forward from there. I like that. I like your first chapter is understanding.
Understand.
And if we don't get an understanding, we have no point of reference to start from. And when we get an understanding, all of a sudden now we have pictures in our mind and we can operate from those pictures.
Yeah.
But the first thing, and that's why I like that your first chapter starts off with understand.
Understand. We have to understand the root. Where did it come in? You know?
Yes.
How did this thing enter our lives to affect us? So then we have to track back. I'm a firm believer, and as we work with couples and I work with the wives, the first thing is identifying our why. Why are these things happening?
Yeah.
And then the why helps us to figure out, and it's the thread of our life.
Yeah.
And you'll see that common thread throughout your entire life. And that is so important, of understanding that. So that's why in the first chapter, this book is so loaded, because not only you're reading my testimonies and you're reading the areas of my struggles and how I overcame, but this book allows you to write in this book and start tracking your own life and understanding where things and how things happen.
Yeah. I'm on the journey with you. I've been reading the book and it is mind-blowing. It is powerful. And I like what you said, because I've always said, and we've always said, you have to identify before you can rectify.
Yes.
So identifying where the source of the problem is, identifying the root, identifying going back to the why is so very important, because if we don't get to the why and the root, we'll never stop dealing with the symptoms. But we don't understand we have to get the root in order to eradicate the symptoms. I like what you're saying.
And even with identifying the areas in our lives, we don't identify to hold people captive for the things that may have happened. We identify for our own self-awareness, so that I can track the areas of my life where I started faltering, the areas in my life, like where did it come in? So I don't hold nobody captive. I'm not judging someone for where they are. I'm just taking a look at myself, because we have to get from the place of blaming people. So this is not about a blame. This is about identifying where my life took a change and how, so that I can move forward. So there's nothing here to blame those, because people in our lives do the best that they can, and most of them never understand that maybe the words they've said, the actions that were taken affected us. So I am very careful even with my grandchildren now, because of being so self-aware. Like, I am so careful to never have to allow them to talk negative about themselves. I never point out anything in them that could make them feel insecure. So I never do those things, because I am fully aware of what words and the power of words and how they affect us as kids. And then we grow up with this. So this is not about a blame. This is about identifying so that I can move forward in my life.
I am so glad you said that, because so many times we look outward. Where can I place the blame? Who is the blame? Who is the cause?
Mm-mm.
And that only locks us into unforgiveness.
Yeah.
And one thing I found is unforgiveness is the prison we build, the prison we live in, and the prison we ultimately die in.
That's true.
So no blame outward. We take an introspective look at ourselves.
Yes.
And we grow from this point. I like what you said. I like
that. I'm
like that.
so beyond blaming.
Yeah.
Because as we become adults, it's time for us to look at our own life. And that I have the power to redefine who I am.
Yeah, you're helping somebody.
So in order for me to redefine, I need to be aware of its entrance so that I can give it an exit.
I like that. I like that. So it's almost like recognizing that if you control the cause, you can control the effect.
Yes.
I like what you're saying. This is going to help somebody.
Yes.
Okay. So what role do you believe self-awareness plays in breaking free from the fear of judgment? And this is a two-part question. What role? Okay. And can you provide some tips or exercises for cultivating self-awareness?
So what role? The role it plays significant roles in our life, which could cause us to dim our light. One thing that I would say, my own words, that I would dummy myself down because I didn't believe that I could do it, or I struggled in those areas. And so becoming aware of your thoughts and your emotions and all of these things are so important. So it's important for us to identify the roles that in our life everywhere, because of some of the things and my own insecurities, because it builds the insecurity. It allowed me to enter into relationships that was not good for me. And that's a testimony in my book.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I know this next one is going to really help some people, because people don't have enough control of themselves, and they don't draw these invisible things that I'm getting ready to ask you a question about. So therefore, people don't know how to not cross limitations that we may have. Okay, so let's talk about it. Setting boundaries is an important aspect of overcoming the fear of judgment. Could you discuss why boundaries are crucial and provide some guidance on how readers can set and maintain healthy boundaries?
Oh my God, boundaries is so important.
Yeah.
Because we are the ones to allow people to affect us, to hurt us. We give them. We give them the power. They don't take the power. We give them the power by not setting boundaries, by who we allow in our life, the space we allow them to occupy. And all of these things come because of the fear of judgment. And so we want to be accepted. We want to be a part. So when we want to be accepted, we want to be a part, we allow anybody into our intimate space. And when we allow people into our space, even if it's hurting us, even if it's not good for us, when we allow them into our space, they're going to take up space.
Yes, they will. Yeah.
They're going to take up space. And we are so busy focusing on pleasing people and meeting people's expectations that we forget about ourselves.
Yes.
And this is the time that we start looking at putting people in the categories that they need to be in and keeping our space.
That's right.
In ourselves, for ourselves.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're so filled up because of all the, the space that other people have taken up inside of us, that we allow no space for ourselves. I like that. I like that.
And then, wait 1 second. I'm sorry. But also allowing ourselves space for grace.
Yeah.
Because that's something that's so important. I teach all of my women that you got to have grace for yourself. And you have to give yourself space to have grace for yourself. Yeah. Because we can give grace for everyone else. We have space for everyone else. But what we don't do is give our own self space.
She's helping somebody right there.
We don't do space for grace for ourselves. And because I am sometimes going to not make all the right choices. I am sometimes going to make the wrong decisions. I am sometimes going to fall in some areas. But I got to have grace for myself.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. That is really good right there. So, how can individuals shift their mindset and reframe negative self-talk that contributes to the fear of judgment? And do you have any particular strategies or affirmations to share with our people?
So the first thing is, as we say, of understanding and becoming aware, and mindfulness. Um, I practice mindfulness in my life now. I spend time with meditating with myself. Meditation is just a different form. It's prayer.
Yeah.
I spend time with God. This is my choice. But I become mindful of the things that I love, the things that I don't like, where I am. A lot of times we are so focused on doing and being for everyone else that we forget to understand who we are and being self-aware. Become aware of your thoughts. I make sure that my thoughts are positive because that's important. I spend time in gratefulness. All of these things help you. So the gratefulness, my thoughts, my mindfulness, my time with God, all of this are factors that you need. And these are the things that help you to move forward and to be able to have self-love and spending time and doing things with yourself and for yourself and enjoying yourself.
But it's a mindset.
It's a mindset right here.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to say we have to think for a change.
Think for a change.
Yeah, we're not going to get a change unless we think about that change. I really like that. In your book, you discuss the impact of societal expectations on the fear of judgment. Can you elaborate just a little bit on that and provide suggestions and navigate and challenge us to think a little different about societal norms and pressures? Talk to us a little bit about those societal norms and pressures.
So I'm going to talk from my own experience and in my book again, because I do elaborate on areas in my life that where I was stuck. But I want to talk from being a PK.
Okay.
And so being a PK, and those of us that grew up in church, you understand that's a preacher's kid. And my mom, her husband was the pastor. And so living under the umbrella of expectation in the church world because of who your parents might be, who they're called to be. And there's a lot of, even if it's not said, there's an expectation that you ought to be this certain type of child. You have to function in a certain way. And so because the spotlight is on you, it's like you can't make a mistake, or you better not do anything, contrary. You know who your parents are. And so that judgment of everything that we've done. So I lived under that. And it affected me. It affected me to make choices that wasn't even my own choices. They were things that I did in my life only because of that fear of judgment. And because this is the way you're supposed to carry yourself in a certain way. Well, the calling was them then. That calling wasn't me. They had to live up to that, but they put that upon us. So we had to meet the obligations, meet the quotas, meet the looks, meet the sayings, meet the behaviors that everyone else had upon us. It affected my life so much that I made choices that I shouldn't have because of that.
Wow. You said something right there, because a lot of us are living today based upon what's been deposited into our belief system. And now it's showing up in our present life. And some of us are dysfunctional and really are crippled by that fear of judgment now, based upon what was said, what was done, the seeds were planted way back then. I'm reminded, even as a man, even societal pressures have come to men of all races and all colors. And one of the pressures that I can remember was how it was said early in life that men, can't show too much emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that affects them in
And
relationships.
it affects them later on in life.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's said that if you show emotions, you're weak.
Yes.
So that plants a seed that if I show emotions, I'm showing up as weak. So I don't want to show up as weak. So I lower down my emotions to the point where I'm almost non-emotional.
Yes, numb.
Because society has taught me if I show any, I'm weak. But then I get into a relationship. And in that relationship, I don't even have capacity to be emotionally connected to my partner.
Yes.
And then therefore she can't understand me, I can't understand her, because I've been taught early in life with that societal pressure, and that judgment is now living inside of me.
Yes.
And now I'm operating out of that same
That's the
judgment.
truth. And that's why as a PK, you snuck around.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the only PK. You snuck around and you've done things because of that judgment or what the society says. So then you start looking like, oh my God, those PK kids. It's only because of the expectation and the judgment that was placed upon us as kids. So we couldn't even live like a normal life. If you wanted to live normal, you had to sneak and do it.
Yeah. Isn't that a shame?
It's a shame.
That's a shame. But that's the fear of judgment that you're talking about.
Yes.
It is a shame. So, this book is so good. I believe it's going to help a lot of people. Celebrating accomplishments and embracing one's uniqueness are emphasized in your book. How can individuals effectively collaborate and celebrate themselves and develop self-appreciation?
That's something I had to really learn. I don't think it hit me, and I started moving in that direction until I was in my 50s. And so when I was in my 50s, I think it was a birthday weekend that we was celebrating my birthday, and I remember that day. It was so clear, and it hit me that I've never lived my life celebrating myself and loving my uniqueness and being who I wanted to be. So practicing self-care is one. Doing what makes you happy. As a wife, mother, grandmother, entrepreneur, and I help so many people all over the world, it's important now for me that I do the small things that celebrates me. Practice gratitude. I practice gratitude like daily. I am forever grateful. I'm grateful for God for life. And then I'm grateful for the life that I begin to walk in and the life that I have, creating that space for myself. And then understanding this, that failure is not what people think. I see failure as an opportunity. So because it didn't work this time, it was an opportunity for me to learn so that I can get it right and better the next time. So instead of holding myself captive and lowering my head and lowering my stance, I began to see things differently because that shows who I am. I'm learning to embrace me. I'm learning to embrace the things that someone else might have judged, that someone else might have criticized, but I'm learning in my life to embrace every aspect of who I am, because when you begin to realize that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, that I'm made to be bad, I'm made to be awesome, I'm made to come forward, I begin to celebrate who I am.
I like that. And the reason why I intentionally use the word collaborate and celebrate, because if we are ever gonna recognize our own accomplishments, sometimes it is the merging or collaboration of the old us and the new us coming to a better place so that we can say, now I'm ready to throw my own party for myself.
Throw my own party.
See, and that takes some time. That's a journey. That's for somebody out there.
That's a journey. It is.
To get through breaking so many seeds of negativity and seeds that were placed inside of us for that fear of judgment. We've counseled ourselves out from the celebration. But it takes your old self recognizing that your new self has shown up, and
Yep.
now it's time to throw your own party and celebrate yourself.
And to be unapologetically me.
Say that again. Unapologetically.
Me. I'm not called to be you. I'm called to be me.
Yes, yes.
And in order for that to happen, I have to learn me.
Yeah.
And learn that my frailties, learn the things that make me uncomfortable, learn my triggers, learn all those things that make me me. The things that affected me back then.
That's right.
That I said, oh, I denounced, that I no longer will allow to affect me, and seeing who I am. And I like what you said of merging, because there were some things that I learned back then that make me greater today.
That's right.
So that's why I said failures. I see failures opportunity, because had I not gone through some of those things, I wouldn't be the woman that I am.
I like that. I like that.
I wouldn't be the woman that I am. Had I not gone through those things, I wouldn't be able to help the hundreds of women that I help every year.
Yeah.
Had I not experienced those things.
Yeah, come on now. You talking.
If I never experienced those things, I would never be as awesome as I am today, as powerful as I am today.
Yeah.
That's being unapologetically me. I am never going to talk the way someone else talks. I'm never going to move the way someone else moves, because I'm created to be me. And that's me learning me.
Yeah.
That's me embracing me. That's me loving me and realizing that I am enough all by myself.
Enough all by yourself. Sounds like the new you, which is me, now could teach the old me something from that they need to know.
This is what I tell my clients in sessions. I wish that I had a me back then.
Yeah.
I wish that there was a me who came along back then and helped me identify who I am, and help me to embrace who I am. See, there's not a lot of me's for those of us back then, so we struggle. Yeah. So that is important to me. That's why I work so hard empowering women and young women that learn who you are and embrace who you are. And no matter what someone else said about you, you have the power to redefine. I don't care how you started.
That's right.
You got the power to redefine yourself now.
Yeah, I like that. You mentioned the word struggle. I like the word struggle. So let's talk about that for a moment. What advice would you give to someone who is struggling with the fear of judgment and doesn't know where to start in their journey towards freedom?
Oh my God.
Somebody wants to be free, but they don't
Somebody
know where
wants to be free. First of all, get the book.
Get the book.
Get the book. It's that is going to walk you through. It's going to allow you to write, to journal. And one of the most important things that I've ever done in my life was learn to journal. And I have journaled for every season. I have journals for every season and stages of life. And when you do that, have that talk with yourself and begin to empower yourself. I set affirmations for myself every day, and that is so important. But it's spending time with yourself and enjoying who you are and celebrating who you are, celebrating your small success, your large success. If no one else is going to pat you on your back, pat yourself on the back. Yeah. Spending that time with yourself. I journal. I teach all my clients journal. It is important to journal. And journaling your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions, where you are, your heartaches, your pain, and then your success. Yeah. It's so important, your successes, so that you can embrace who you are. So you can look back years from now to see from where you came and to where you are today. Yeah. So I really encourage you. First of all, get the book. It's going to be step by step. It's a lot of writing and some journaling, some things in there, affirmations. I affirm myself every day. Yeah. Every day. I tell myself who I am, because I lived my life under the opinions of others. And I had to one day take the opinions of others off my back so that I could live my life without being hindered in my thoughts and my actions and my creativity and my growth. And doing that began to break me free from the fear of judgment. Because after you done been through enough heartaches, enough disappointments, enough people walking in and out of your life, you start looking at your life and start saying, okay, access denied.
That's right. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you have it. There you have it. Lady Carolyn Byrd, the author, the mentor, the coach, a lady of wisdom, a lady of much wisdom. There are women that are sitting at her feet. There are women waiting to sit at her feet. I encourage you today, if it's one deposit you want to make into your life right now, you need to make the deposit of 8 steps from freedom. Breaking free from the fear of judgment.
Yes.
I know something has been said today, something has penetrated your spirit, and you know that it's time. You know that this is for you right now. Get the book. Sow the seed into your own life.
Yes.
Sow that seed into your own life. Many times people will only sow negative into our lives, and we have to sow positive into our life. Sow into your own life.
Yeah. Get the book. You can find it on Amazon, and lately I've been seeing that it's been sold out on Amazon. You can get it on Barnes & Noble, or you can also, if you need it from me, reach out to me and I can sign your copy and send your copy to you. Get the book. It's time for you to be free.